Hey guys, Zach Scheit here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about giving. So we're getting close to the holiday season. It's a time where we love to give gifts to our friends and family, spend time with each other, do the things that matter most in life. And for many of us, it also means a special time to kind of think about donations and supporting charities and causes that are really important to us. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of doing that in a way that is efficient and allows you to give the most that you possibly can while also protecting the wealth and the savings that you've worked so hard to put together. There are certain ways that you can give gifts that actually are more efficient with your capital that actually help you protect what you've got. And today I wanted to show one specific trick that you can do that leaves more in your account available to give to the causes and functions that really matter the most to you. The market's been really strong this year with stocks hitting all-time highs, which means that investors have large stock positions with big unrealized gains in them right now. That's both good and bad. Now, obviously, it's good to have profits. We love having those. But it's bad because you actually need to pay taxes on those profits whenever you sell a position. Today, I actually want to talk to you about a plan that can do good and help you be generous with your investment gains while also helping to minimize your tax liability. So, first, let's take a look at the bad news. The bad news is you're going to have to pay taxes on your gains. Now, how much will you owe? That depends on a number of things, including specifically how long you've held your position. If you've held a stock for more than 12 months, that position is considered a long-term position and it's taxed at a typically lower rate by the IRS. The IRS actually caps long-term capital gains at 20% tax rate right now. We'll see how that changes with any new proposals that the Biden administration comes up with. But right now, 20% is the number that we're working with. Second, if you've held the position for less than 12 months, that's considered a short-term position and your gains are taxed at your normal income rate. And this can be a lot higher than long-term capital gains. So think about that whenever you sell a position. Also, depending on where you live, you could have to pay state taxes on top of your federal taxes. And if you decide to sell your shares to free up cash for giving, you could wind up with a big tax liability. And you'd have to decide whether you're going to take that tax liability out of the money that you were going to give to a charitable organization, or if you're going to have to eat that cost yourself and still give the same amount. Either way, there's less left over for you to be generous in future periods. Fortunately, there is good news. Now, if you're giving to a recognized charity, 501c3 or some other recognized donation group by the IRS, you can actually deduct the value of your gift from your taxable income. So that means less tax liability for you down the road. Better yet, if you give shares of stock instead of giving cash to the charitable organization, you can deduct the value of the entire gift without having to pay capital gains taxes on your profits. Most established charities actually have brokerage accounts, which make it easy for you to transfer your position directly to them. So that way you can write off the entire value of your gift, while at the same time the charity doesn't have to pay taxes on this gift because they are a charitable organization and they're not taxed by the IRS. So let's look at an example of two ways that this kind of a gift could work out. Assume that you have a stock position with a 100% gain and you're planning on spending $5,000 in a charitable donation. Now, it's not unreasonable to assume that you could have a 100% gain on your stock because the market has more than doubled from the pandemic lows. Meanwhile, we've actually seen many other stocks that have had much larger gains. And if you've held a position for a really long time, it's possible that you could have a much larger gain. But let's just work with this 100% number so I can show you how the numbers work. So if you had if you were going to sell $5,000 worth of your stock, you would have to pay taxes on $2,500 of profits from this particular position. Now, if you lived in a high tax state, that means that you would pay as much as 30% or more in taxes on this sale. And so that would take $750 out of your pocket, which would either not be available to the charity or not be available to you because of the tax that you're paying on this gain. So that's option number one. And of course, you'd still be able to deduct the value of the cash that you're giving to the charity from your taxable income for the year, but you're still not doing it as efficiently as you could. The second option would be to actually transfer shares of stock, $5,000 worth of stock, to your charity and have them sell the shares. Now, if you did that, you would not have to sell and recognize the gain on your shares, so you wouldn't have to pay taxes on your capital gains. The charity would, in fact, be able to sell, they wouldn't have to pay taxes on it, and you would still be able to deduct $5,000 from your taxable income this year because of that gift to the 501c3 charity. So you would save money on your tax bill. The charity would get the full amount that you plan on giving them, and everybody walks away happy. Now, obviously, paying taxes is part of our civic duty, and I've got no problem with that. But as investors and just living in the world that we live in today, it's important for us to operate as efficiently as possible with our money while still playing by the rules that the government sets for us. So if you do it this way, you can actually make sure that your money is doing the most amount of good for the cause that you believe in, while at the same time saving money for your wealth so that you can continue to be generous in years to come. Now, of course, if you have a more of a complicated tax structure or some issues that you need to talk over with your own personal financial planner or your tax accountant, that's important to make sure that you get a second opinion on it. But from a high level position, this is a great, efficient way of giving money to a cause that matters to you while at the same time minimizing the amount of tax that you have to pay on those gains for stocks that may be at all-time highs right now. So I just wanted to encourage you, if you have locked in some big gains in the market this year, if you've been a beneficiary of these stocks moving higher, and maybe some of our research here, or just the fact that you've been really wise with your investments, think about a way to give back to people who need more than you do, to just some of the causes that matter to you. And if you decide that you want to be generous with this wealth, then consider transferring shares of stock instead of selling and then giving the cash to a charity. Thanks for listening. I'm Zach Scheit, and we'll talk soon.